Russell Westbrook drops his agent and quite possibly dropped the last little fragments of his mind in the process. At least one MLS opponent is implying that LAFC is cheating to land top-name players. And people who don't even like sports are lining up against USC and UCLA for leading the Pac-12. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelinos. I am waiting for my plane to arrive so I can get back home, but there's way too much else to talk about today, so we're going to get straight to the sports. If you like the content we've been putting out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when there's new videos in. Also, sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and comment by all means. It's lonely in an airport. Now, before we get to the news, let's go through the scoreboard. Clayton Kershaw took a perfect game into the 8th inning. So yeah, maybe he could be an all-star starter after all. 2 perfect games going into the 8th, right? In the meantime, Justin Turner went 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Dodgers 9, Anaheim 1. The Dodgers have a 9.5 game lead in the NL West. Meanwhile, today, Dodgers will play at Anaheim at 7 p.m. Julio Urias 7-6. Jose Suarez 1-3 for the Angels. And Colorado will play the Galaxy at 6 p.m. I'm not optimistic. LA hasn't beaten the Rapids in 7 matches. Just tough times to be a Galaxy supporter these days, let's be real. So, a lot of weird little news for the Lakers. They got a C grade from CBSSports.com overall for their offseason. They still don't have a lot of shooting with the Lakers. Maybe they're a little bit better on defense, certainly a little more athletic, but far from a completed product. And those things matter because obviously this is one of the things. When you're a glamour franchise in the NBA, you have everybody talking about, oh, add this player, add that. We've been talking about it for weeks and months. Mark Stein is writing that the Lakers, however, are not willing to give up Talen Horton-Tucker to Utah for defensive-minded guard Patrick Beverley. Now, some of you might be sitting there going, wait a second, Talen Horton-Tucker hasn't done anything in the last couple of years, and Patrick Beverley is an elite defensive guard. But I kind of see the Lakers' point. Beverley isn't like in his mid-30s and he's injury-prone. Do you really want to acquire that? Can you possibly get him a little cheaper? Or maybe you just don't want him at all. It's not the end of the world. Also, I would ask this. I do recognize that LeBron James can irk a lot of us with his politics, with his social justice warrior stances, right? That doesn't mean he's always wrong. This is what he thinks of Celtics fans. Quote, they're racist as F. Yes, they are, LeBron. Bullseye. You will not get me even thinking about disagreeing with you on that one. But late on Friday night, Russell Westbrook has dropped his agent. Now, the agent posted on social media citing irreconcilable differences, like they're heading to divorce court and bitching about who's going to get custody of the gerbils and the vermin in a cage in the back of the closet. What do I know? I mean, you never know what people argue over in a divorce. Here's my thing. I like Russell Westbrook. Always have. You know, even back when he was playing in Oklahoma City and I was watching him be Mr. Triple-Double, you'd see that over and over throughout his career. But I'm starting to think he's lost his mind. I mean, I work in healthcare, right? So when people come up like you flip around on the news channels, oh my God, Joe Biden is losing his mind. Look at him, he can't even manage a flight of stairs. And I'm sitting there going, I don't want to diagnose Joe Biden because I'm not a doctor. It's not my call. But Russell Westbrook, I'll say, is starting to lose his mind. Look, why are they splitting up? It's because the agent wants him to stay with the Lakers. And he posted a litany of reasons why Russell Westbrook should stay with the Lakers. But but Russell Westbrook doesn't want to hear it. Russell Westbrook still thinks he's the 22-year-old up-and-coming stud who's going to produce a triple-double without even thinking about it, instead of a 34-year-old guy who can't shoot anymore. You know, it's craziness. The agent was basically, his bottom line was this: look, Russell Westbrook, Russ, if I can call you that, your value diminishes every single time you get traded. And if you want out of LA, that's going to be your fourth basketball team in 4 years. Your value is going down. But Russ didn't want to hear any of that. Just like he didn't want to hear that it was LeBron's team. Just like he didn't want to hear that elite, the most legendary players in the history of the NBA, changed their game to lengthen their career when they didn't have the explosion anymore. Russ doesn't want to hear that either. He doesn't want to hear any of it. He still thinks he's the man. He still thinks he's Mr. Triple-Double. Attention. And he still thinks he can basically do a tour of every NBA city from sea to shining sea and still be the highest paid player in the game. Are subject to inspection. He's lost his mind. And I like the guy. I can't believe the guy right now. Because here's the additional problem. The agent says he wants Russell to stay in LA. What's not stated is that if he's dropping his agent, that means he disagrees, which means he wants out of LA, which is fine if you're a Laker fan. A lot of them want him out. But he could sabotage the team in the process. He could be a complete clubhouse cancer. He could undercut a brand new head coach just to try to force a trade. This is gonna get ugly. Now, on the other side of the hallway over at Crypto.com Arena, by the way, CBS Sports gave an A- to the Clippers for their offseason. Now, the rationale: Clippers had very little cap space, still added John Wall. Can I argue with it? No, not really. A team official for the Philadelphia Union is calling shenanigans on LAFC for signing both Gareth Bale and Giorgio Chiellini. Now, both European superstars took drastic pay cuts to come here from Europe to play in MLS. According to the official, quote, innocent until proven guilty, of course, unquote. But the insinuation is clearly there. He thinks that they're cheating. Now, later the guy was called out onto the carpet and he, quote unquote, clarified his comments by saying, I believe everything was done in compliance for LAFC. No, you don't, dude. Stop it. Stop lying to us. Now, accusations of cheating for players in MLS, the accusations have been pointed at pretty much every single team. And if you're looking for somebody to blame, it's actually MLS. See, in a way to keep player salaries affordable for a league that frankly isn't making money yet, MLS came up with all these quirky rules. They came up with the designated player. Then they had something called TAM. They had something called CAM. I have no idea what any of that means. I couldn't even begin to explain it to you. They even have something called Young Money. Young Money. Which sounds like you're basically booking a flight to the Ukraine to go get a mail order bride, right? I can't explain any of that. I mean, sometimes there is cheating involved. Inter Miami got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They were sanctioned. There were accusations against the LA Galaxy, both for getting David Beckham and even Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, for his part, LAFC GM John Thorrington, was upset about his integrity being questioned. I'm holding off judgment. Just don't know enough yet. And now, time for today's installment of Sit the Hell Down and Shut the Hell Up. Here's a headline from the Turf Show Times. And by the way, I like the Turf Show Times, just not for this. Quote, if Sean McVay retires early, the Rams should enter Sean Payton trade talks. Okay, guys, over at Turf Show, I like you. I do. I've quoted you guys. In this case, you have finally gone brain dead. There is no way this makes any sense. You want the LA Rams to hire the guy who put bounties to injure opposing players. That's the replacement for Sean McVay when McVay finally decides to leave. You want to trade draft picks to acquire a coach who has spent years hating on the LA Rams for beating the Saints in the NFC title game a few years ago. That is your dream replacement for Sean McVay. Really? Why? You're not even going to give defensive coordinator Raheem Morris a sniff at the job? You're not? You don't even think it's possible that the Rams might cut a check and maybe bring back Zach Taylor from Cincinnati instead? That's a possibility. Why does Sean Payton get this much credit? Sean Payton has as many Super Bowl victories as Barry Switzer. Why? What makes Sean Payton so special? Why does this whiny guy get all of this credit? He has as many Super Bowl wins as Mike McCarthy. He's been to as many Super Bowls as a lot of these other chumps, and yet this guy gets all the credit. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Also for the Rams, we talked about Cam Akers yesterday. He has said that he is full strength now, coming back from his Achilles injury. He wasn't full strength when he was playing last year. Colorado's AD is blasting both USC and UCLA for leaving the Pac-12. Quote, "We didn't lose any team that has appeared in a college football playoff game." What would Colorado know about the college football playoffs? Can you riddle me that? Anyone? Now I will acknowledge the football team actually won the national title back in 1990, but I'm afraid you're going to have to impress me more than by sitting there showing me all the other stuff out from the 1990s, right? I mean, people were collecting Beanie Babies and wearing Bart Simpson Don't Have a Cow t-shirts back then. This is not exactly some program with a lot of football history behind it. And then there's California Governor Gavin Newsom. He's blasting UCLA alone for leaving the Pac-12. Gavin Newsom talking sports. Really? Can we just point out the hypocrisy of a eunuch calling out football players for a lack of testicles? Really? This androgynous Ken doll? Seriously, stick to what you know, Gov. Hair gel and letting wildfires just burn down the state every year. I'm at a crossroads in my life. Yesterday, I was staring at the ceiling of a Super 8, wondering how many Bostonians pronounce Karl Marx. And I started inspecting LA Sparks trade rumors, which amounted to nothing. The WNBA trade deadline was yesterday. Nothing happened. LA tried to acquire Skylar Diggins-Smith, who must be elite in the WNBA because I've actually heard of her, but nothing happened. Let's do a quick roundup of Dodger notes. They have signed Hansel Robles, a relief pitcher who has pitched for the Mets, Twins, and Red Sox. Robles is probably on his way to Oklahoma City. He strikes out a lot of people. He also walks a lot of people. Think Pedro Baez. Finally, no rehab date has been set for starting pitcher Dustin May, but starting pitcher Andrew Heaney likely begins a rehab assignment by pitching today over in Rancho Cucamonga. Like I said, lots to talk about. Now, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We're trying to build something here for LA Sports. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and I'm very tired. We'll see you tomorrow. Faithful Angelinos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.